All right, come on in, hit the like button, think about subscribing if you're ready. If you're new here, welcome to the channel, but most importantly, welcome to the Berserker family. So this is my personal opinion, a very honest opinion, as always I do. It's the review for the 2025 zombie horror film called 28 Years Later, the third installment of director Danny Boyle's zombie films. And I know they're not zombies, technically they are, but they're not called zombies, they're called the infected. There's like a whole history and movie history about why they don't use the exact term zombie, but here's a plot of this specific one. It's been almost 3 decades since the rage virus escaped from a biological weapons laboratory. One group of survivors lives on a small island connected to the mainland by a single heavily defended causeway. When one of them decides to venture into the dark heart of the mainland, he soon discovers a mutation that has spread to not only the infected, but other survivors as well. Now here's some of the casts. Okay, so I will say the film looked stunning, but the CGI is debatable when they used it. There was also some cool shots. However, the director tried way too hard and failed to catch the magic of the first one surrounding the handheld shaky cam. A lot of people like me do not like the shaky cam when they do it, and it's really hard to do the proper way. So for the most part, they don't do in Hollywood the best of shaky cams, or at least as of past 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. In the first one of this franchise, they did well. It actually had me behind the camera shakiness to it. It makes you disoriented and stuff like that. It wasn't like this. It felt this very thrown in. I also will give props to the prop department and makeup department for how realistic the infected and gore looked. Also, the set design of the Bone Temple was pretty badass. Speaking of that and other stuff, the film was super bizarre and super creepy, in which those and the new way they went about the infected was the only highlights. Along with the infected part of the story, they came off like watching National Infected Geographic. And I'm being a smartass because that's what kind of felt like they did. And they could have actually gone that whole way of just surrounding them the whole time. You know, kind of in a way where they didn't really do a whole lot of vocals like they did with that Bigfoot's movie, Sasquatch. I think that would have been an interesting take on it, with what they went with this. I couldn't decide to laugh or be scared and creeped out. It was that bizarre. Here's my huge issue with this film, though. The whole idea of why they went out in the beginning was straight up stupid, made zero sense, and it was a tradition, so it made even more or less sense. Then you have the kid being just stupid, making stupid decisions, and then later on, you know, that happens and kind of some more stupid decisions, which ended up being what led to the final pushing story forward, and that's debatable. I mean, that's pushing it, ironically. Even then, the story felt lacking of a strong storyline, barely even noticeable. It got pretty boring. Here's my rating, and I'll come up with my final thoughts. Okay, so leave your thoughts down below. But for me, I found this to be very, very underwhelming. It's such a huge disappointment. It was too out there for me personally. Dumb characters, and it honestly felt like a cash grab, and that they're kind of making the mistakes of how earlier horror movies were, with stupid characters making stupid mistakes. Now, I understand he's a kid, it's like 12 years old. I don't care. It was still a stupid mistake. He would know better. His father would know better, taught him somewhat. And I don't want to get too much that would go into spoilers. It's just, it was the worst one of the three, and I have a lot of issues with it. There was some stuff that I liked, some concepts of it, obviously the ones I mentioned. But yeah, I mean, it was frustrating at times with the character, with specifically the son, and it's just like also what's frustrating about this was how they went about it. It didn't feel like they were trying to go anywhere with it. It was weird, and I usually like bizarre stuff, and if it's perfectly good with a good story that's bizarre or very creative, I can be 50-50 on it. As much as I did partly like the bizarre part and how they did it, it was just so weird, and the whole film felt kind of all over the place, with what they're trying to decide on what it was, and that it doesn't seem like they decided what it was. So and all this is my opinion. I've seen up until leading to this, trying to avoid spoilers, and I've seen people say that they like this. I have seen plenty of comments that have said to criticize this, that maybe not want to be interested in this. But at the same time, I was excited for this because I like the first and second film, for what they were. Despite not liking the ending of the second one. But yeah, I mean, this was not only the weakest film of the franchise, but also one of the weakest films of this year, in my very strong opinion. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have some more out stuff this weekend, or maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Depending on what comes out. But in the meantime, remember, I love you all. Please stay safe. Spread the love. Most importantly, Skull.